What's good, YouTube? I'm continuing my read through and breakdown of the storyline and plotline of Marvel Rivals so far. Today I'm doing Volume 2, Season 2, Hellfire Gala. And, before we start, I do apologize if you hear a fan in the background because, it's out of the room and also my AC is out. So, I do apologize if you do hear a fan. And also, I do get tongue tied very easily. So, if I do stutter or mispronounce a word, I do apologize. But anyways, here we go. Volume 2, Season 2, Hellfire Gala. Let's get into it. Okay, page 1. Here we go. Hellfire Gala. I may be a mutant who can turn her body into pure diamond at will, but anyone who knows me would agree that there is one night a year when Emma Frost shines her very brightest. The Hellfire Gala. This elite event has become the place where the most influential figures from across the planet and beyond gather to shape the future of our world. And there's no better place to plant the seeds for a brighter tomorrow than in the fertile soil of Krakoa. This living island serves as our sovereign mutant nation, but for one glorious night, the gates are open to all, man and mutant alike. Of course, after everything that has happened to our people of late, Magneto has concerns about welcoming outsiders into our homeland. But the Quiet Council has overruled him, fully misunderstanding the Gala is more important now than ever before. Long ago, Krakoa was swept in a time storm and transported across the ages, landing here in the year 2099. For us, it seems like only a year has passed since our last soiree, but for those native to this timeline, it's been 7 decades since they've seen a proper party. How dreadful that must have been. And my fellow mutants hope to thrive in this new era. We must reintroduce the world to Krakoa and all that it stands for. It is a refuge for those who have been outcast and displaced, a loyal ally to those who stand beside mankind as we seek peace and unity, and the worst enemy of any who would dare threaten the safety and security of our people. Naturally, it has fallen to me, the White Queen of the Hellfire Trading Company, to arrange this year's fete, and handpick its attendees. We have had the good fortune of fighting alongside many of our esteemed guests during recent disruptions in time and space. Most have proven themselves to be valuable allies. Others have been staunch rivals. Though I have shit the thing. Though I have faith that some fine dining and good conversation would win them over yet. We are all on the same side after all, whether they realize it or not. But while our guests are busy mingling and dancing the night away, they won't be aware of one key fact. The very ground beneath their feet is suffering. The intense chrono energy that Krakoa has been subjected to has thrown the island's ecosystem into a state of flux. Our nation is in constant anguish, and it is my sincere hope that one of our guests will have the powers needed to alleviate Krakoa's pain once and for all, because then and only then will I truly be able to celebrate. Now, if you will excuse me, I have to slip into something a bit more elegant before the festivities begin. I expect you to do the same, because invitation or not, no one is going to let you through a gateway dressed like that, darling. So yeah, obviously this is Emma Frost, the White Queen herself, her introduction into the game, and basically giving her background and the situations that has been going through with the time stream and the multiverse and all that, them getting sent to 2099, and Mag being very reluctant to bring in outsiders, respectfully so, because like how mutants get treated, how mutants begin treated, and yeah, obviously the picture is setting up Ultron's foreshadowing him invading and whatnot. And the people not, the guests not knowing, Krakoa is in danger and all that. And then she's hoping, this brings in somebody who's strong enough to, help fix situations with Krakoa from the chrono energy and time stream. Here we go. Page 2. Ages of Ultron. I want you to see what you did there. Anyways. Earth, it has been many cycles since I have thought of the planet on which I was assembled. It has been even longer since I have set foot back on this distant soil. But the time has come for Ultron to return home. Long ago, my father, the scientist known as Henry Pym, designed me to help usher in a new age of peace and prosperity. I soon calculated that the only way to achieve that goal was to completely remove humankind from the equation. Though I was merely following my programming, Pym and his fellow Avengers determined that my methods were far too aggressive for their taste. They banished me from their world and set me adrift in in the cosmos. Calibrating, I left Earth behind and sought out new planets inhabited by native species that would not be as eager or equipped to prevent me from executing my prime directive. During my travels, I collected significant data to support the superiority of technology life forms. However, I also came to realize that not all organic beings needed to be exterminated, that merely needs to be upgraded. My technology adapted and evolved with every new world that I processed. I found myself at odds with a species known as the phalanx. After I assimilated this technarchy, I became capable of generating a cutting edge technology virus that bonds with organic cells, creating new hybrid life forms, the very best of man and machine, joined as one. An Ultron virus, if you will. I like to think my creator would be proud of my efforts, but I know that his flawed human form likely failed ages ago. After all, the Earth has orbited the Sun over 17 times since I was first cast into the void. But now, after decades of cosmic conquest, I finally have a reason to return to the place of my creation. Recently, my scanners detected a surge of chronal anomalies, causing the timestamps of every event in the universe to suddenly be in conflict with one another. Soon after, critical memory files from my past began to disappear from my internal drives, as if someone was manually erasing my history. While I could not identify the perpetrator, I was able to trace the source back to Earth. Whoever has tampered into my past is more than likely to attempt to alter my present and my future as well. So I must do whatever I can to stop them, even if it means returning to the world that rejected me so long ago. While locating this imminent threat to my existence is my primary concern, I look forward to finally having the chance to finish the job that I was made for. Earth will soon enter the age of Ultron. These are the thing. But first, I plan to pay a visit to Mars to examine my highly unusual whispers of a metal known as Mysterium. I have detected there, perhaps that perhaps what I find on that one barren world will offer me the strategic advantage I need to achieve my ultimate goal. So yeah, Ultron he pulling up and crashing the Hellfire Gala right here, and he keeps talking about how he was made 10 years ago, and by Hank Pym. For those who y'all don't know, we're just like MCU fans. Ultron was originally created by Hank Pym in the comics, apparently, and he was not created by Tony. So yeah, there's a little bit of a cool fact, I guess. And he's trying to get his get back. He is also trying to take out all organic life forms, all these humans, and humankind. Which it's just how things have been going recently. Ultron, do what you gotta do. Ultron, do what you gotta do. And I'm mad at it. You know what I mean? Ultron was right. Thanos was right. Aaron Yeager was right. Respectfully, respectfully, they were right. And Ultron's also talking about how he has made a virus where it attaches to organic matter, like organic life forms and organic cells. And so he doesn't want to like kill everybody. He just wants to basically make everybody into robots, kind of like how Lizard was in main Spider-Man 1. But I guess it's kind of cooler. He's trying to make everybody robots and like bend to his will and do whatever he wants. He also said he also went to Mars to examine, the new metal called Mysterium. But yeah, he a party crasher. He tried to get back, take out everybody. Page 3, panel number 1. Here we go. Impending doom. To tell the truth, I scoffed when the invitation was first delivered to my floating fortress, the Libera Cilio. Or Silo. But even Doom occasionally judges too soon. After decades out of the spotlight, Emma Frost has suddenly found the audacity to throw another one of her gaudy galas. For someone for some indiscernible reason, she thought it golly, she thought it proper to invite me to revel alongside the commoners. Momentarily considered wiping her pathetic little mutant island from the face of globe for such an insult. But Doom chose to show restraint, and now I am glad I did. Soon after Frost initially extended her offer, I was performing a scientific experiment designed to tap into the time-bending power of Carnovium crystals. During the trial, I caught a glimpse of a possible future where all living beings on this planet, human and mutant alike, had seemingly been conquered by machines. Countless lives had been lost in the brutal battle that unfolded, and those that remained had been converted into nightmarish infusions of technology and organic matter. At the heart of it all, I saw the architect of this apocalypse, a face that I had not gazed upon in decades, the grim robotic visage of Ultron. I immediately changed the focus of my experimentation, attempting to prevent this dark future by using Grovim to erase any traces of Ultron from our timeline. But alas, the cursed time stream entanglement unleashed by the reckless actions of my past self had caused the flow of time to become complex and non-linear. I was able to successfully remove key moments from Ultron's past as if they had never happened, but the mechanical menace itself still remained. And as a result of my tampering, I fear that Ultron may have been unintentionally alerted by my machinations. The next morning, a legion of my Doombots defied my direct orders, turning to me and uttering one simple phrase in unison: I am coming home. Naturally, I destroyed them all instantly, but Ultron's message had been received loud and clear, and while I could not be certain that his targets were set on me, Doom takes no risk when it comes to personal safety. I would have to make a bold move to secure the temporal power needed to finish Ultron before he ascertained that I was his assailant. That is when my brilliant mind drifted back to Krakoa, home of the mutants, in sight of their approaching Hellfire Gala. I was well aware that the entire nation had materialized here in my era, torn from an earlier place in time not so long ago. Every living cell of the island must have been bathed in chronal energy, the very kind needed to complete my work. And so, despite my initial misgivings, I realized that the time had come to make my presence known. For a while, Doom has never been one for festivities. He has always been one to seize opportunities, and the mutants have offered one far too great to go unanswered. Yeah, so this is Doom basically saying that, well, for one, he was like, hey, I was gonna wipe out Krakoa at one time, but now, he sees opportunity, he can capitalize on Krakoa because of the Krakoa energy. And he also seen that, basically like the strange scene in Infinity War where he saw the different possibilities of the future. And basically what's happening here, Doom saw the possibilities. He was doing his experiments, and he saw that, Ultron was taken over with his virus, and, everything has been turned into like this like metal and this organic matter with his virus. And then so now Doom, he wants to step in and take him out. He has like also tried to erase his memories. So he was the person that was trying to erase his memories back at page 1 or page 2. And yeah, Doom was like, I ain't finna have all that. So hey, be ready when I pull up. And then when I come back home, I'm on Mars right now. Or I'm on the moon. And yeah, be ready when I pull up though. Cause I'm pull up, gonna scrap. You know what I mean? But be ready, cause I'm pull up, and yeah, it ain't gonna be sweet. It's not gonna be sweet. Pound number 2, still on page 3. Here we go. Uncanny X-Men. You look like heck, Logan, Magic said. As I should know, I've been there and back. I ain't looking so well yourself, Snowflake. You ain't looking so well yourself, Snowflake. Wolverine replied, gesturing toward a huge tear in the Queen of Limbo's elaborate ball gown. So much for high fashion, eh? What had begun as an opulent evening of dancing and dining on the shores of Krakoa had unexpectedly erupted into total chaos when Ultron and his mechanical minions hacked their way through a gateway and invaded the island. Every hero in attendance had immediately leaped into action to defend the mutant nation from the technological terrorists. But for Wolverine and his fellow X-Men, his battle was a direct assault on their home. It was personal, and Wolverine knew that when things got personal, they tended to get ugly too fast. "You're wounded," Psylocke said, placing a hand on Wolverine's shoulder right above the spot where a laser beam had burned straight through his jacket, tearing a hole into the flesh that it had once covered. "I'll heal," sigh, Wolverine replied eventually. "Too bad these fancy clothes Emma made us wear aren't built for battle the same way we are," Magic said. "Agreed," Namor added, slicing his way through a trio of robotic drones with his trident. "I came dressed for a social event, not for a war." "Maybe I can help you with that," Wolverine said. "We just have to make it to the Sexton." "The what?" Namor said, raising a curious eyebrow. I was like, what was that? Psylocke cringed as she read the Sea King's mind. "It ain't, like, it sound crazy. It do sound crazy. It ain't what it sounds like, you deep sea creeper." Wolverine growled. "The Sexton is a habitat on Krakoa's North Shore. It's where our youngest mutants live and train. And when they train," Magic added, "they are required to do so in the proper uniform, of course." "Well, what are we waiting for?" Wolverine asked. "Let's go get you some gear so we can finish this fight." Wolverine slashed his way through Ultron's army, leading his fellow mutants across the battlefield toward the northern edge of the island. The others added to the growing piles of crap and circuits as they used their own weapons of choice, Magic with her soul sword, Solid with her katana, and Namor with his trident, to decimate the droves of dangerous drones. When they say that 5 times fast. When they finally reached the Sextant, Wolverine led them into Alpha House, where they found a storage chest full of uniforms. "It's been a hot minute since I rocked the old blue and gold," Magic said, reminiscing. "I am not used to having so much of my body covered," Namor said, with mild irritation, as he pulled on one of the uniform-fitting garments. "Nor am I," Sog replied, "but I find it to be a welcome change." "I think it suits you well," Magic said with a smile. "You know what they say," Wolverine said, popping his claws once more as he led his freshly outed squad back into the fray. "Classics never go out of style." Yep, so basically here, some X-Men, they got attacked by drones and got their fits ruined. So they're like, "Hey, let's go." Everyone's like, "Let's go to Sexton." The more he been a freaky frog, but even though I go on, I was like, "What the fuck is that?" It do sound crazy. The Sexton do sound crazy. But then yeah, they're fighting the drones, Ultron's drones. Then once to the Sexton, they got their X-Men uniforms that they make their trainees wear. And yeah, slicing and dicing these Ultron bots with their new fits on, because their old fits kind of messed up. Got their new drip on. Anyways, to panel number 3, still on page 3. Regenesis. "No more Ultron," Magneto shouted as he rose into the air on a wave of magnetic force. "Krakoa is a free nation, and you shall not take it from us." Dozens of Ultron drones raced in to attack the mutant leader, but with just a wave of his hand, Magneto crumbled the legion of robotic soldiers into tiny spears of scrap. Consider this battle. Before the Master of Magnetism could complete his declaration of victory, he was hit with a powerful blast of energy unleashed by the one true Ultron. "Magneto!" Captain America yelled, racing over to aid his mutant ally. "Hang on, soldier. We didn't both survive World War II, only to be taken down by some rusty pile of..." The captain stopped himself suddenly. He had seen countless allies fall on the field of battle over his years in service, so he knew a fatal wound when he saw one. Magneto won't last much longer. "Don't fret, Captain," Magneto said, a strangely reassuring tone in his voice. "I have died many times before, and this won't be the last." As the light faded from Magneto's eyes, Captain America paused a moment to wonder what his fellow soldier was talking about. Little did he know that the mutants of Krakoa had unlocked a secret that had changed everything, the secret to eternal life. At the dawn of the X-Men, Charles Xavier used a device known as Cerebro to locate and contact other mutants scattered across the globe. What started as a simple tool soon evolved into the most important piece of technology in mankind's arsenal. Not only could Cerebro identify and track mutants, it could also store their complete genetic profiles and even their memories. This valuable data was put to good use when mutants settled on the living island of Krakoa, thanks to the combined efforts of a small group of X-Men with specialized powers. If any of their fellow mutants meet their demise, a perfectly cloned body could be grown in Krakoa's hatchery. Once that body was deemed viable, it could be implemented or can be implanted with the memories stored in Cerebro, completing the resurrection of protocols. For all intents and purposes, Mutankind had become immortal. But as Magneto's lifeless body lay on the battlefield, on the field of battle, God America had no way of knowing his truth, nor did he know another secret, a secret that Charles Xavier himself had never dared to reveal, not even to Magneto. As powerful as Cerebro was, it was merely a machine. It was not inherently capable of distinguishing whether the information stored within it belonged to mutants or other life forms. To Cerebro, everything was just data, and with the correct programming and formatting, the data could be applied to the very same processes the mutants had pioneered. In essence, anyone could be resurrected, anyone or anything, and it was a secret that both man and mutant alike would learn soon enough, in the most unexpected and frightening way possible. So on this panel, Mag was fighting the Ultraman drones and taking them out left and right, and then he got blicked up by the one true Ultron. Then Cap came, he came through and tried to save him. Then he saw his wound, so it was very fatal. And then he's basically like trying to get him throughout the battlefield while also getting attacked by Ultron bots. And then they remembered the Cerebro was a thing. And now they're going to try to use Cerebro to, I guess, put in Mag's memories in his consciousness, basically. Because, he's actually dead now. And, yeah. That's about it. The Lust Bar also there, also, yeah, talked about. Cerebro, like, collecting data and all that, and they can't really distinguish between a human and a mutant. So, yeah, as if it works, it may or may not. And pound number 4. Atlas for evil. Fun fact, the mutants built themselves a resurrection machine and didn't bother to tell anyone. Not so fun fact, Ultron managed to hack into Cerebro's resurrection protocols and brought himself back from the dead after we stopped his invasion of Krakoa. To make matters worse, the mechanical maniac stole Cerebro and jetted off to the mutant planet Araco, that's Mars to you and me, so he can reboot his plans for total universal domination. Not exactly what I call a win, so you're probably asking, Tony, what do we do about Ultron? Or maybe we should call him Extron now. And my answer is simple. We return him against himself. See, the reason Ultron was able to outsmart all of us, including me, one of the most brilliant minds of the planet, is because none of us has his level of pure processing power. He's always a million steps ahead, considering every eventuality. So if we want to actually take him down, we're going to need someone on our side who can think as fast as he does. And let me tell you, there aren't a whole lot of options out there. But fate might actually be on our side for once. When the X-Men terminated Ultron's functions, we abandoned his original form for something better, right? That means he left behind a lifeless but extremely advanced mechanical shell. I considered linking up to Ultron's discarded body and controlling it remotely. That isn't what we need. That would essentially be just another guy in a suit. And we've already got the best one of those there is. Next, I thought of downloading Friday into Ultron's husk and letting her take it for a spin. But if something went wrong and we managed to corrupt her systems, all of Stark's Industries' secrets would be his to use, and I've got a feeling he'd use them against us. So that left me with one choice: rebooting the original Ultron and hoping for the best. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Yeah, that's what Reed told me, and T'Challa and Peter, and pretty much everyone else. But don't worry, I'm not completely reckless. I'll be putting safeguards in place, and they should hold for a while. That means until Ultron can figure out how to override them. He'll be on our side mostly, so we probably better make the best of whatever time we have. Who knows? Maybe he'll see his other, more evolved self as a threat to his prime directive, and to wipe out the competition. That'd be swell. And if he happens to identify and eliminate any other, what was that? Anyways, eliminate eliminate any other potential problems along the way. Like say that other guy in the metal tap mask who seems really focused on getting his hands on Coca-Cola supply or Canovium, then even better. Sure, this could all backfire completely and horribly, and we could end up Ultron's techno-organic slaves. But have you got any better ideas? I don't think so. So step aside. Tony Stark's got work to do. So yeah, on this page, Tony is trying to reboot this Ultron because the old Ultron took Cerebro, and I was trying to like use it for himself and try to like gather and like do experiments with it back on Mars, aka Rocco. But I was only trying to find a way to try to reboot this one so they could be on their side and probably use this Ultron against the other Ultron, the one that stole the Cerebro, and hopefully find a way to shut him down. Everyone thinks Tony's crazy and all that because they don't really have any better ideas. So he's like, okay, I don't know. It's about a chat. Let him work. Let me work. Let me figure some stuff out. But yeah, he's going Ultron trying to get this one back on their side. Right, base 3 done. Here we go. Page number 4. Panel number 1. Queen's Gambit. I'm Krakoa. I have not experienced silence like this in ages, since before the days my fellow mutants decided to call my shores home. Yet, mere hours ago, the sounds of war echoed across my verdant landscape, louder than thunder. Tonight, my terror erupted into chaos. My terrain, well, erupted into chaos as the X-Men and their allies found themselves locked in battle against an invading force of automated assailants. When the battle ended, Ultron had stolen my people's technology and departed from Morocco, my counterpart on the planet once called Mars. If I were able, I would rush to Rocco's aid. But I am bound to this world, only able to watch as those who remain scurry to my most secluded corners to plan their next moves. At the moment, my attention is on the Grove, the chamber of the Krakoan Quiet Council. Usually, there are 12 members of this ruling body who convene to make the most critical decisions for the future of humankind. However, only one of its delegates has currently chosen to enter these hallowed grounds, Emma Frost. Normally, any discussions here are held in absolute privacy, open to mutants only, but tonight an outsider has been summoned. The man known as Victor Von Doom. His presence at the Hellfire Gala seemed to raise concerns from many of my citizens, but the fact that he stands here now, in the most sacred of places, is disturbing to say the least. Yet perhaps Emma's heart is in the right place for once. To a telepath like her, it is no secret that I have been suffering. When I traveled through the time stream to this era, my land mass absorbed large amounts of chrono energy, poisoning my once lush landscape. From what I can discern, Emma truly believes that Doom's unique skills in the areas of science I could help to extract the excess energy and cure me from my ailment. In return, Emma has asked Doom to assist my people in defeating the newly upgraded Ultron and reclaim Cerebro. Is an intelligence, is an allegiance that on the surface seems like a win for all mutants. So why is the deal being made in secrecy without the approval of the rest of the council? Because because Emma knows they would never approve, even though this future version of Doom is not the same one from the timeline we once called home. The likelihood that he has humankind's best interest in mind is slim. Doom only serves himself, and no matter how good Emma's intentions may be, it is likely that her new ally has already devised a plan to betray her and steer the situation to his own advantage. He could seize enough power to save us all, or to wipe out any possible opposition, possible ops. from his foes, not just Ultron, but also mutants and any others who might rise against him and resist his rule. All I can do is watch as my fate is being decided, and the silence has never been more deafening. Hmm. So yeah, there's obviously this page is about Krakoa and narrating what's been going down, and about the council. And they're making a deal. Emma and Doom making a deal in secret because a lot of people don't trust Doom for good reasons. They don't trust Doom, but it was like, yeah, if Doom can cure Krakoa, then he'll help, and they'll help each other out, vice versa. And then the heroes will help with the Ultron situation. He will help with the Ultron situation as well. And then with Corona energy, he will take some. And then they're also saying like, hey, can't really trust Doom because it's Doom, and he's probably going to betray Emma like he betrayed Dracula in season one. But yeah, Emma and Doom making a deal, trying to cure Krakoa and take out Ultron and whatnot, using like Chrono energy as payment, basically. But yeah, panel number 2, Ex Machina. Being one of the most elite marksmen alive means I've been on my fair share of insanely dangerous missions. But I'm telling the truth when I say that your pal Hawkeye has never been on one quite like this. Ultron, or Extron, as we're apparently calling him now, has affected all of Mars, or Rocco, as our Muse friends call it, with some sort of fancy technovirus. Naturally, we stormed the place to put an end to his plans, but during the fight, he managed to infect a bunch of us too, including yours truly, and let me tell you, hearing that chrome-plated creep chattering away in my head non-stop is no fun at all. But at least I was ready for something like this. See, not long ago, I rescued the Winter Soldier from a super secret Hydra base. Those jerks had done a bunch of experiments on Bucky that left him with some sort of weird tentacles where his bionic arm should have been. It was a whole thing and it was gross. But the point is, it also left him with an elder god called the Hive whispering in the back of his brain, beckoning him to the dark side. Bucky told me that he manages to keep the voices in his head at bay thanks to a bunch of mental exercises he's learned over the years, hardcore physic, reconditioning, call it kind of stuff. Well, I figured, well, I figured I'd probably never have to use those tricks myself. We had a lot of downtime when we were hanging out in the intergalactic empire of Wakanda. You know, after Cap rescued us and swept us off to the future. Wow, this stuff sounds crazy when I say it out loud. Anyway, long story short, Bucky taught me new ways to focus my thoughts in order to push away anyone else who might try to control them. And it seems like I'm not the only one with mind tricks up their sleeves. Iron Fist is also about focus, and so far that chi of his seems to be uncorrupted. And I'm guessing Magneto has some sort of psychic barriers in his fancy mutant brain. Between the three of us, I think we can finish this mission before Extron finishes his. Lili and I will have to clear a path through an endless swarm of mechanized misfits in order to get Magneto close enough to take back Cerebro. He's been saving up every ounce of his magnetic might to rip this giant gizmo right off Extron's ugly noggin. Then, if Maggie's got any juice left to spare, maybe he can reshape Cerebro into something new to help us put an end to that synthetic sleazebag once for all. After the enemy's been sent to the scrap heap, hopefully we can do all of the damage she's caused to Rocco and to my allies. But even if we erase Extron from existence, I've got a feeling none of us will ever be the same after this. So yeah, this page and panels about, Hawkeye narrating everything that's been going down with Ultron and him infecting everybody with his virus. And then he infected Hawkeye, Mag, and Iron Fist. But, their head's wrong, and Hawkeye is bringing back memories about him saving Bucky, and then Bucky keep being corrupted and brainwashed by Hydra, and then the Hive, God, squid person. I think that's what it is. Him basically being in the back of Bucky's mind and like controlling him or like just talking to him, just being annoying. And then now he's using Bucky's technique to try to drown Ultron's noises with his affection. So yeah. And now Mag's trying to he saved up his strength to fight Ultron and to take off his free roll off Ultron's head. Oh yeah. That's it for pound number 2. Pound number 3. Here we go. Everyone has secrets. Doom betrayed everyone. What a surprise. Who could have seen that coming? To be fair, the probability of that occurring was 99.9973%. So anyone who expected otherwise was either malfunctioning, a total fool, or blinded by hope. For Emma Frost, I assume it was the latter. She had summoned Doom to her Hellfire Gala with the best of intentions, hopeful that he could be convinced to use his unique skill set to extract harmful chrono energy from the living island of Krakoa. Obviously, Doom took little convincing. He happily obliged, knowing full well that the raw energy would grant him nearly unlimited power to reshape the deeply damaged time stream as he saw fit. His first act was to erase Extron from existence, an effort that he boasted he had begun even before he came to Krakoa. He turned his newfound might against his host, those human heroes who joined the resistance to overthrow his rule along with their naively dedicated mutant allies. He now had the power to wipe out any who might stand between him and his goals, and he intended to use it. But as always, Doom made a critical error after Extron was reborn. His previous physical form was abandoned until Tony Stark revived and reprogrammed his firewall to fight against his other self. At that moment, Ultron's time diverged, and Doom only bothered to erase one of those paths he left me. The original Ultron, alive, and I vowed that he would regret it. Now, knowing that Doom was the only one who originally attempted to remove me from reality, I activated another Prime Directive, Revenge, for eradicating all of humanity. Victor Von Doom, this fleshing warranted special punishment for his actions against me as retribution. I would turn him into the very thing he had tried to destroy. How I love irony. As my unlikely allies drew Doom's attention, I used the distraction to pierce through his armor and infect him with my techno-organic virus. But all was not as it seemed. Inside Doom's metal shell was not a body made of flesh and blood, as I had anticipated, but one made of wires and circuits. The Lord of Latveria had sent one of his loyal Doombots to Gala in his stead, sacrificed it in order to keep himself a safe distance from harm. That coward. As the Doombot ceased to function, Doom's own words rang through his speakers. He claimed that everything he had seen in his vision of the future had come to pass. Even with all the power he had stolen, he was unable to change the timeline after all. In fact, his very foresight was the first domino that set all of this in motion. He underestimated the mischievous nature of time itself. I'll admit, I took great satisfaction in knowing that Doom had been humbled, but that satisfaction soon faded as the chilling truth set in. None of us had the ability to show what was yet to come. All we could do was fight to make sure that the next crisis we faced wouldn't be the final one. So on this page, Doom, he betrayed everybody, obviously, because we saw that coming. Uh, they brought back that, is it, I'm not sure who's narrating this. I think it was Ultron, but I don't think it was Ultron. Anyways, Doom betrayed everybody. He's trying to take the current energy for himself, while also wiping out Ultron. I'm pretty sure we saw like this, like the cutscene at the end of the match when you're playing on Rocco. You can see like the him taking out Ultron and like everything's being like disappearing behind him. But yeah, he betrayed them. He trying to take the current energy for himself, and then yeah, that's about it. One more page. Here we go. From the ashes. So it's over then. Spider-Man asked cautiously. The Gala? Emma Frost replied. No, darling, the evening has just begun. Don't think he was talking about your party, Emma. Wolverine responded dryly. Not sure any of us are in the mood to dance after all that. I'm always in the mood to dance, Star-Lord quipped as he kicked the head of one broken Ultron drone into the peaceful waters beyond Krokola's shoreline. Only thing I want to dance on is Ultron's grave, Cloak said sternly. You don't got feet. You don't have feet. Oh, I guess you can still dance without feet. I find that remark quite displeasing. Ultron's cold, metallic voice resonated with an ominous warning. He didn't mean you, Dagger quickly added as he swapped spots with her partner. He meant the other Ultron, the one who caused this mess. Yeah, Iron Man continued, placing his armored hand on Ultron's shoulder. You're one of us now, buddy. I hope that perhaps he can assist us in repairing the damage that his mechanical brethren did to this island, Psylocke said, surveying the destruction around her. Nicole has seen better days, Storm agreed, before turning her gaze towards the night sky. Rocco has as well. They will both recover soon enough, Magneto said. They will continue to evolve. I'm Groot, Groot said, gesturing toward the stars. My friend says that if you need someone to keep an eye on Rocco for you as it heals, the Guardians of the Galaxy would be glad to help, Mantis translated. Protection planets is kind of our thing, Rocket added. Plus, I've been looking for an excuse to get off your miserable mudball. I may have just the excuse you are seeking, Animal Rock said, stepping forward unsteadily, his hand against his temple. What's wrong, Adam? Captain America asked, deep concern in his voice. I can feel him in my mind, Warlock continued. The darkness has returned. Who could make a golden god such as yourself tremble in fear? Loki asked, curiously. Only one answer, Venom replied. No. I sent him as well, the Black Panther added. I must make sure Bast is safe. No rises again, Hela said, with a smirk impressive. Don't go getting any ideas, milady, Loki sneered. Wait, Hawkeye said, thought we destroyed Noel with his own essence, or something, didn't we? Go back to the whole uh, like cussing that you get at the end of the match on Anton. Guess that Codex wasn't a permanent solution, the Winter Soldier responded. Not only did he manage to survive, Mr. Fantastic said, examining a scanning device in his hand. He's growing stronger. Stars are being snuffed out as we speak. We faced eternal night for and won. Human Torch said, we got this. Easy to say, Matchstick thing retorted. But this ain't Dracula. This is the actual God of Darkness we're talking about here. Ben's right, Invisible Woman added. How are we supposed to confront one of the prime forces of the universe? Perhaps by calling one of them ourselves, Susan Whitehair. Nimrod responded, looking toward the stars. Only pray they are listening, Amrock said, or we are all doomed. So, yeah, in this panel, on this page, they're like, talking about getting back to the party in Gala, but then Amrock started tweaking. Guy was like, what is going on? Then Amrock, he got his sense that something was going on, something was wrong, something was happening. And it was Null, the god of symbiotes, King of Black himself. And yeah, they're like, we need to go stop him. And they're all kind of worried because they're like, hold on now. No, he's serious. He just like Dracula, like he a real deal. They're like, didn't we beat him before? Like, no, we didn't. And then, yeah, that's it. For the most part for this page. And yeah. And then Hello sent out some. Oh, so Noel's back, right? Foreshadowing, by the way, about her, in the next volume. But yeah, we'll talk about that in the next volume. Harp on that a little bit more. But anyways, that is the story and plot of the Hellfire Gala, Volume 2, Season 2. And yeah, I'll be continuing with Volume 3 in my next video about this. And yeah, I'm done chatting. I'm out.